Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Woodstock, Georgia, it's time for Cherokee Business Radio. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to Cherokee Business Radio. Stone Payton here with you this morning. And today's episode is brought to you in part by Alma Coffee, sustainably grown, veteran-owned, and direct trade, which means from seed to cup, there are no middlemen. Please go check them out at myalmacoffee.com and go visit their Roastery Cafe at 3448 Holly Springs Parkway in Canton. As for Leticia or Harry, and please tell them that Stone sent you. You guys are in for a real treat this morning. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast and back to the Business RadioX microphone with the How Money Works company, Mr. Glenn Carver. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Stone. And hey, welcome to Cherokee County. It's awesome to know that you're a resident and a business owner in Cherokee.
What a blessing. We haven't been here very long. I've been in the studio a little bit longer than I've been in residence. I've been in residence right at about 2 weeks. We've been in the studio here, I don't know, maybe 6-8 weeks. What a marvelous place to live, work, and play. Of course, I know every bartender in town.
Of course you do.
Including Lauren at the Pie Bar and Brian at the Shirt Bar. But all the bars in between. But what a terrific community. Dog-friendly, people-friendly, restaurants, bars, community arts, and wow, how business-friendly this community is. So I cannot begin to express my gratitude for the way the existing people who are well-established, and they no more need me than a man in the moon. And they're all trying to figure out ways, hey, what can we do to help Stone in this Business RadioX thing he's got?
Well, I think you're our newest Cherokee County ambassador, and everything you just said explains why I've lived here longer than anywhere I've lived in my entire life.
Wow. We talked about it a little bit before we came on air, but it is just one of those communities that stands out. Well, before we dive into your work, why? How? Was it luck? Is it particularly well run from a governmental administrative standpoint? Do we just have a few real community business leaders that have just taken the bull by the horns, or is it a little bit of all that?
My good friend Glenn Carver would say, all the above.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about your work, How Money Works. Mission, purpose, what are you guys out there trying to do for folks, man?
Yeah, as you can see, this phenomenal new book called How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker.
I love the title.
Yeah, well, the title's great, thanks to Steve Siebold. So the book was written by my two friends and business partners, Tom Matthews and Steve Siebold. Oh. And, the mission of our company, the How Money Works company, and the mission of the book is quite simply to eradicate financial illiteracy. And it's still a big deal. As a matter of fact, financial illiteracy is the number one economic crisis in the world today.
How about that? I mean, noble pursuit. Wow, have you bitten off a lot?
Well,
but it's a noble.
Yeah, well, think big or go home. Think big or keep your day job. If you go back 100 years to the 1920s and 30s, a third of the population in this country was illiterate. I mean, imagine, Stone, not being able to read a book. Imagine going to a restaurant and not being able to read a menu. It would be incredibly embarrassing and uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yet
today, 100 years later, 30% of the population is financially illiterate, and it's really not our fault. I think it's a shame that the basics, that what I call the indispensable basics of personal finance, are not taught in school. I was a finance major, and I didn't learn the rule of 72 in business school.
You kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
Okay, I did, and I've forgotten it. But I did. But I was exposed to it. Right now. Can we just kind of give the quick and dirty on that?
Yeah, I mean the rule of 72 is simple division. It's third grade, fourth grade math. But very simply, the rule of 72. This is critical. So we're getting in. We're just diving right in.
Let's get literate.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, the rule of 72 says that if you take the number 72 and you divide into it the rate of return that you're getting on your money where it's invested, it will tell you how long it takes for your money to double. So,
okay.
Let's say you put your money into a savings account at the bank. That would make you a sucker, by the way. because you can't even get 1%
You can't
anymore.
even catch up to the inflation even, or
No, not even close. I mean,
Right.
the average savings account rate at the major financial institutions right now is 0.09, less than 0.1%. But let's just say let's fantasize and say you could get 1%.
Right.
72 divided by 1 equals 72. So if you put $1,000 into a vehicle that gets 1%, your money's going to double every 72 years. And that's too long.
Yeah, that's that's a little long, even for those of us that might consider ourselves forward thinkers and long horizon and all that.
Yeah. So, but to your point that you just made, okay, so let's say we can get 3% on our money. 72 divided by 3 is 24. Going to take your money 24 years to double. But at 3% after taxes and inflation, you're still getting a negative return. You're still going backwards.
Okay, I'm not liking this financial education so far, Glenn.
Well,
is there some bright spots in some of this?
Yes, the bright spot is you've got to put your money in a vehicle where you're getting 6, 8, 9, 10, 12%. So your money doubles quickly enough over the span of your lifetime to have a shot at building that $1 to $2 million proverbial golden goose that you can live on. So
and that $1 to $2 million in today's dollars, we're talking, we're in 2021 here. What is it, May already?
It is, it's May 4th.
But if you got $1 million, $2 million net worth, you can have a very comfortable lifestyle. You're not going to zip around in a gold-plated yacht, but you're going to be able to hunt, fish, whatever you like to do, travel, whatever. But to do that, you need to be planful and be thinking about these things and know about these things. And what I hear you saying is a lot of us, and I think that maybe I'm included, we don't.
We don't because we're not taught young enough. Maybe our parents weren't taught, our grandparents weren't taught. Why I'm so passionate about this work, Stone, is that when we teach somebody how money works, we can literally change their life. Especially living in a capitalist society, okay? Yeah. And if you can change somebody's life, you can teach them how money works. You can change their life. You can change the lives of their kids. You can change the lives of their grandkids. You can positively affect generational wealth by teaching one generation how money works.
So I wonder, I know this is true for some because I felt this way as a young person. I wonder sometimes if younger people hear topics like this and they think to themselves, well, all that sounds great, but I only have $100. I only make $5 an hour. When I get the good paying job, then boy, am I going to start doing what Glenn's talking about or what, is in the book that Stephen taught. Is that common? Or that's not just me, right? A lot of people think like that. Like, yeah, as soon as we get through Aunt Mabel's surgery and I get on the other side of school's out, whatever the new thing is, and I get a little money together, then I'll start doing that stuff.
Yeah, that's the way we're hardwired to think. And that's that we're human. We think that way. We procrastinate. We're lazy by nature. 3 action steps any of your listeners should take right now. 3 action steps. This is where I messed up. I was a finance major. I was in this business in a previous lifetime in my 20s, but I was young and single and immature and unfocused, and I didn't stick with it.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Imagine if I had stayed in this business. Anyway, so here's 3 action steps anybody can take. Step number 1 is start now. Regardless of where you are in your life, regardless of your age, start saving and investing now. Do it now. Flex that muscle. I don't care if it's $1 a week, $1 a month. Start now. Flex that muscle. Step number 2 is save on a regular basis. And ideally save monthly because you want to earn compound interest, not simple interest. Simple interest is slow, compound is fast. You want your interest earning interest monthly. And then step number 3, which is a little difficult for us human beings, is to be patient. That's the tough one because we're emotional. We get fearful. You can't chase returns, invest for the long haul. The market always goes up over time, dollar cost average. So start now, save on a regular basis, and be patient.
So I suspect there are some who start doing this, they get fired up about it, and they actually enjoy manually managing the process and writing the investment check to the wealth building account or that kind of thing. But I wonder if for many of us, and particularly for me and my mindset, I wonder if I'm not better off if it could somehow get set up just automatically. So I don't even think about it. Is that, yeah?
I think you just made up a new word. I think you just said auto-magically.
Yeah.
And I love that. When you save on a regular basis, it's auto-magic. It's automatic.
Right.
Yeah, there are ways where, your account can be drafted monthly where you don't have to think about it, where it's on autopilot. If you don't, there's 7 money milestones in the book, Stone. Step number 1 is get a financial education, because this wasn't taught in school. Okay.
None of what you're talking about was taught to me in school.
No.
I do think in college somebody said something about this rule of 72, but it didn't stick with me.
No, it doesn't stick. So read the book. Read the book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. You can get it on Amazon for $16, $17, or you can reach out to me and I'll mail you one for free.
I was going to say, if you have your own radio show, you might get a free one. I got one this morning.
Think that's right.
And I'm not going to get mine signed.
That's right. So we have, Ben Franklin said that knowledge pays the best interest. We have got to take it upon ourselves to get educated financially. So step number 1 is read this book. I mean, as you can see, it's not a 500-page tome of financial jargon.
Oh, no, you guys are going to love this book. And, of course, there'll be a picture with it where we have this published, and wherever Glenn and his organization choose to publish and republish this conversation, we'll have easy access to get to the. But, yeah, the way this thing is designed, it looks like it's a fun, easy read.
It really is. It's 115 pages. It's written in storybook fashion with colors and characters such that an 8th grader can understand it. And this book, this material should be taught in middle school or high school at the latest.
Yeah, so yes, it's at that reading level, but we want people much earlier to start having these conversations and thinking about it. And I think some wealthy people, one of the things they do well is teach their kids how to be wealthy. But maybe some of us that maybe we don't consider ourselves wealthy, Dad didn't teach me. I don't know what to teach my kid. But with a tool like this could help us, right? Educate ourselves and others.
There's no question. And I'm not going to get on my conspiracy theorist soapbox on your show. But I'll ask you one little question. If the biggest financial institutions in our country can keep us just a little bit in the dark, do they stand to make just a little bit more money?
Yeah, you don't see them handing this book out, do you?
No. You see them at the beaches handing out credit card applications.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's illegal now. Yeah, it's crazy.
So what are some other milestones? Can we talk about some of the other?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's how you characterize it, milestones. But you're saying just out of the gate, first thing, just educate yourself.
Yeah. So there's 7 money milestones. They're great financial concepts at 30,000 feet in this book. Mm-hmm. I believe in every fiber of my being, Stone, that every American should read this book and as young as possible. So I'm proud. I'm 54. I've got an 11-year-old son. He understands the rule of 72 now.
Wow.
That's cool. That's really cool. So this book,
and Carver's a kind of a cool name for a rich guy. So he's gonna be great, Sir Carver.
He's gonna do a heck of a lot better than his dad.
Yeah,
a lot earlier. So this book teaches, it teaches the rule of 72, the magic of compound interest. By the way, Albert Einstein, pretty bright guy.
Yeah, pretty sharp guy.
I mean, he wrote the theory of relativity in 1905 and changed the way we look at the universe. What did he know? He did say that the magic of compound interest is the most important mathematical discovery of our lifetime.
Wow.
The magic of compound interest, the high cost of waiting, the early. See, anybody can be a millionaire in this country if they start early enough.
That's mathematically true.
It's mathematically true.
It's a true fact, as my sister-in-law would say. That's a true fact.
It is a true fact. There's no mystery. This is not rocket surgery here. This is basic math. It's black and white. You don't have to get emotional about it. If you start saving and investing young enough in the right places, you will become wealthy over time. Fact. Okay?
Right.
Unless a meteor hits the earth. Then we're all done.
So quick question for you, because this really did happen in our lives. We've been very blessed. Holly and I both have made a pretty comfortable living by our standards and by a lot of people's standards. There was a point in our life where we did make a little bit of a turn, and we started more automatically putting money away. I got to tell you, after a couple of months, we didn't miss it.
Well, that's huge what you just said.
Right? You don't miss it. You sort of meld and mold, and it wasn't a ton. I don't know. I think maybe we started putting away 10% at first. And I'll tell you, in a month or two, I don't even know that we even changed our lifestyle that much. I guess we did incrementally, maybe.
Yeah.
Or the way we made some decisions. Is that common?
It is common. That's a great way to invest. Is monthly, have it auto drafted out of your account where you don't see it and feel it.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very powerful. So great segue to what we call the high cost of waiting, because if you start now, if is the largest word in the English language, but if you start young enough, you can be wealthy. You can build $1 million, $2 million Golden Goose by the time you're 65, 67. So just some quick numbers. And let's say that you wanted to have $1 million retirement fund.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted that $1 million Golden Goose when you turn, let's say, 67. How much money do you have to save and invest monthly to get there? Well, if you start when you're 20 years old, if you start when you're 20, and we're looking at a rate of return of 9% compounded monthly, because you want your money compounding monthly, not annually.
Okay, important distinction.
Yes. You only have to put $113 away a month.
Holy cow.
At age 20.
Oh, my goodness.
To have $1 million by age 67.
I was spending that on beer at 20.
Of course. Of course we were.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, a high school student can have a little part-time job and do that.
Sure.
But what if you're human and you procrastinate and you wait until you're 25?
Yeah.
Then that number goes up to $178
Holy
a month.
cow. It doesn't go to 120. It goes to, wow.
170. Wait, it gets worse.
Ah.
This is called the sobering high cost of waiting. What if you're like a lot of people? Hey, I'm guilty. I screwed this up, Stone. I know if I can screw this up, anybody can. I was a finance major. I was in the business in my 20s. What if you wait until you're 45? That number goes up to $1,212.
Wow.
That's got a comma in it. And see, most people, most hardworking middle Americans can't save or invest an amount of money each month with a comma in it.
That's right.
We're just, with our...
What a great way to say that, too. I love the way that you articulate this. That's easy to understand. If it's got a comma in it, that's hard for the working guy, working gal.
It is.
To put away for a month, yeah.
It is. So, yeah, I mean, if you have young kids or young grandkids, you've got to teach them this information as young as possible. And you can ensure they're wealthy at retirement age.
Wow. Those are some sobering numbers. And I love the way that you and apparently the authors of this book, Steve Siebold and Tom Matthews, frame things up in just ways that are easy to understand.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. And I've got to plug also Andy Horner, because he's not the co-author, but Andy Horner, as you can see in the back here, he's the creative genius who took these, financial concepts can be boring and dry, but Andy Horner is the creative genius who put this work together such that it's so fun and colorful and storybook. And
Andy, you're my hero, because finally maybe I'll understand more of these concepts.
Yeah. I mean, we've got kids. We've got stories of kids, 9 and 10 years old reading the book and grasping the concepts. It's really not, it's not rocket science. This is basic info that really anybody can understand.
All right, so we want to get to people young.
Yes.
And 45-year-old guy sitting out there, just grinding it out. He listens to this conversation, or somebody gives him a book, or his kid brings a book home from school maybe one day. That would be great. Yeah. That would be cool. I mean, he's not going to, go to hell and burn in fire and brimstone. I mean, he could still salvage. He could still get something out of this too, right?
Of course. My newest client's 52 years old.
Oh, there. Okay.
It's never too late to start.
All right. So when you talk about client, talk a little bit about your client work, if you would. Obviously, you really believe in and choose to live into this methodology, this process, this rigor, this discipline. But if you would walk us through a little bit of what's it like as a client to work with Glenn Carver and this How Money Works organization?
Yeah, thank you. Great question. So I'm a financial educator with the How Money Works company.
Okay.
At the end of the day, we do financial advising and financial planning. We just do it in a really fun, cool, non-threatening way. Mm-hmm. We educate, add value, and then if somebody sees that there's a hole, 95% of the people we talk to have a blind spot or a hole in their plan.
I'll bet.
That might be conservative. But so we have everybody read the book. I mean, I mail this book out. I'm at the post office every day mailing this to friends and family and people in my warm market. So I want people to get this book and get educated. That's milestone number 1 is get educated. Also, we have lots of master classes online. My business partner, Matt Lucky, and you can see his name on page 2 or 3 here. Matt was one of the major contributors to the book. He's genius. He's 21 years in the business. I mean, he knows more than he's forgotten more than I'll ever remember. So every Wednesday night, Stone, he and I do a How Money Works masterclass online.
Oh, like a live thing?
Yeah. It's on Zoom. Yeah. We just do this book for an hour online.
And we're all getting Zoom friendly now, right?
We are.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Obviously COVID has had dramatic, negative effects on the world and has made massive changes for us. But one of the positives, it drove everybody online.
Right. And
now we do Zoom classes and everybody's comfortable. I mean, people from 21 to 70 are comfortable getting online.
Right.
So we have lots of master classes that we do online for free to educate people. So we get people to read the book, attend a master class, and then we schedule a discovery call, which is a 15, 20-minute phone call just to take a snapshot of where somebody is. I call that point A, and assess where they want to go in the future. That's point B. And then we'll shop the market for the best products and services. We're non-captive, so we can search the whole
that's
universe.
An important distinction right there, right? Well, two right there for me anyway. One is I feel like if I've gone through that education process, I feel like I'm much more informed. Now I've got a better handle on just even what questions to ask.
Right.
Right? Because a lot of us don't even know the right questions to ask. You're probably happier because you're dealing with a more informed potential client.
Yes.
So you both went from that standpoint. And then you just mentioned you're not captive. So you can't only access this mutual fund or this insurance product or this. You really can act in my best interest.
Yeah, to use an NFL term, we're free agents. So Matt and I can shop the whole industry and bring the best insurance products, the best securities products, the best estate planning products, any financial product or service that somebody might need to put together a solid financial plan for their life, we have access to. And another interesting, sobering thought, many people, because we're living longer, because of medical technology, we're living longer. A lot of people are more afraid today of outliving their money than they are afraid of dying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say wow. Less so for me, just because of the way I'm wired. But my wife Holly, and again, we've been very blessed. If she has any question concerning anything that's on her radar, it's that she's thinking through. Do we really have enough to make it? All the way through at the lifestyle that we, at a nice lifestyle. And then in your aging years, are we going to, be in a situation that we feel like we can afford and we're comfortable? So, that's even true in my life, I guess.
Well, I saw a real world example of this a couple weeks ago. One of my dear college friends made a Facebook post, and her father was in the hospital for a condition, and I don't recall exactly what it was, but he was in the hospital for a condition, the same exact condition that killed her mother 25 years earlier.
Oh, my.
And her dad went through it because of newer medical technology, is fine. So, yes, because of that, and that to me, that was the ultimate example of, we talk about medical technology and living longer, but yeah, it's a fact. Because of medical technology, we will live longer, and unfortunately, a lot of people will outlive their money and have to do something uncomfortable, like maybe move back into, a home with their kids or into some type of nursing home. Then that's the whole, and then there's a whole other conversation of long-term care, which is a real crusade for us because, the numbers are staggering. One long-term care event can wipe out a lifetime of savings, can wipe out the best laid plan.
And there's a product or suite of products available.
Oh, yes.
And with economies of scale, and because everybody doesn't end up having to tap into that pool, it's probably, it's probably a loaded word, but I'm going to use the word affordable. It's in the scheme of things, it sounds like you guys are big advocates of some type of protection planning for the long term.
Oh yeah, we have a fantastic solution that a lot of people don't know about or aren't aware of. Yeah, there's some of the best products in the history of the industry available right now.
And again, and if it's not, you find a better one next week, You and your partner Lucky?
Matt Lucky, yeah.
Man, what a cool name. You and Lucky go out and find a better one.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah, a lot of the name brand companies that you hear all the time are getting very aggressive and very competitive and very creative to bring fantastic products to the marketplace.
Yeah. All right, so how do we get to the young people? How do we get to the not so young people? And what can we do to help here at Business RadioX?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. As a matter of fact, we blew through April, but April was Financial Literacy Month. So we've got some, the How Money Works company, we've got some great initiatives to get these books into the school system.
Oh, good.
To give these to, the teachers and the kids in the schools. And, the kids love it, and they take it home when their parents end up.
That's how the parents get the book.
Yeah,
I love it.
Parents get the book. So we have lots of initiatives to get the books into the schools, into churches. We have lots of women's initiatives. So this is the spirit of this company is great, and we're on a mission to educate people. I've got to plug Tom real quick because he's been in the industry for 40 years, and his team has probably helped tens of thousands of families prepare financially. But these 3 words, Stone, How Money Works, are very, very powerful words in our industry. Lots of companies have used these words in their marketing materials and in their language. And Tom being Tom, a few years ago, he started thinking, and he had his attorney go out into the internet and do a search. And nobody, of all the mega institutions out there, nobody had ever wrapped up or taken ownership of those 3 words. So 3 or 4 years ago, Tom trademarked those 3 words, How Money Works. So our company owns those 3 words, has them either registered or trademarked, and I just think that's so cool.
I do too. And it's so important that we understand, and I don't ever need to understand it like Tom does, but I need to understand it better than I at least did and probably do. It's funny you mentioned the kid bringing the book home, and that's how the parent. I think that's how and why I finally met To Kill a Mockingbird. I think Katie or Kelly brought it home. I'm like,
sure.
Hey, this is like a pretty good story. Yeah. That's funny. So I wonder from a business standpoint, here at Business RadioX, we have a little bit of a network. It's not a franchise system, but it's a family of several studios, and we have ambassadors and correspondents and studio partners, people who run studios in other markets. Above and beyond trying to find and capitalize on some economies of scale for benefits and that kind of stuff, I'd love to make it super easy, just for my crowd to get more financially literate. I want them to learn how to run a business effectively, but I don't want to push it down their throat or anything. But I'd love to make it real easy for all of them to be more financially literate, learn more about how money works.
Yes.
And I wonder if other business people probably feel the same way, whether they have 15 people in their business family or 15,000, right?
Yeah, well, I love what you just said, and my partner Matt Lucky and I, we do live How Money Works master classes for businesses.
Okay,
we're doing that right now. We love it. We're heavily working inside of the real estate industry, but any small business, even small business, that's relative. Any small to medium sized business, if you'd like to have us in, we'll come in and do a free How Money Works master class for you and your team. Let's just consider it an employee benefit.
Yeah.
We'll teach this information for an hour.
Oh, neat.
And then we'll give everybody a book for free. So that's our mission. That's our value add. We come in and we educate. We have fun. It's not financial jargon. We keep it light.
Right.
Then we give people an evaluation form. Tell us, critique us. Tell us what you like, what you didn't like. And hey, if you're somebody who needs to take a next step, and if you have an advisor in your life and you have a great relationship, cherish that relationship. But all too often that doesn't exist.
Right.
If you don't have that person in your life, Matt and I know a couple guys who might, be willing to talk to you and educate you further. Right. But we love to do the classes live and on Zoom, and we give people the book. So we just educate. We're financial educators. We love to educate. When people are educated, they'll make the right decision for their life.
I believe that with all my heart, and I'm glad to hear you articulate it. So let's back up a little bit. Look at that same idea, but through a little bit of a different frame for the benefit of me personally, because, it's my show, but also for our listeners.
It's good to be the king.
Isn't it great? This whole serve first, relationship oriented versus transactional, which I think is, maybe a little bit unique in your particular chosen profession. I may be wrong about that. We have the people I think the Business RadioX system attracts, and the folks we like to hang out with, the folks who kind of gravitate toward us, and those the tribe, our tribe.
Yes,
I think they are a little more in general, far less transactional, more relationship oriented. Their mindset is more serve first, right? Perfectly content with and actually genuinely invested in, let's go help some folks. They're not all going to be clients. Not everybody's going to write us a check. Maybe only a few will write us a check over time. But I don't want to suggest for 1 minute that our tribe is not financially ambitious, because I think they are. But I do think a lot of the folks in our world, maybe some who are listening live, almost certainly those who will tap into this on demand while they're hitting a bucket of balls or jogging a park or whatever. Yes, they want to make more money, but I think the motivation sometimes is because they've learned that, man, the more money I make, more people I can help.
That's right.
And then the more people I help, the more money I make, and the more and as you well know, and I think many of our tribe has discovered, man, once you get that flywheel cranking, you can stop it if you wanted to.
I love that. Love that analogy. Yeah. So
the reason I bring it up, though, is we do have established entrepreneurs, business owners. We have aspiring entrepreneurs, regardless of what their particular domain is, their particular experience and base and focus of expertise. This idea of educating as a sales and marketing approach, as a method of serving the market, I would love for you to just speak to that a little bit of the whole sales and marketing thing for you. Looks like it's fun and easy. I don't know. Okay, yeah, talk to that a little bit.
Yeah, I love that's so true, Stone. I mean, my sales funnel, my pipeline begins with this book. Everybody gets this book.
So now, how fun is that, right?
It's fun. I mean, I'm at the post office over on Highway 5 in Holly Springs, where I live. I'm there every day between 3 and 4, mailing out 2 or 3 of these books to friends, people I've met over the years, somebody I met last week at a networking event. I always lead with this book because I don't care what your age or what your income or demographic. Everybody loves this book. Everybody loves this book. I'll just put it like that. So that's the front end of my pipeline.
Right.
It's just fun. It's simple. I facetiously say this is really not a book, Stone. It's actually a can of Spam. You know, the meat Spam?
Right.
This is a can of Spam because it has eternal shelf life.
I love it.
And that's why I always write my name and number in the bottom of the book, because they get passed around to family members and other friends. They get moved around. So, from a mission standpoint, I love the fact that we're going to eradicate financial illiteracy. But as a sales tool, this is the best lead generation tool in the history of the financial services industry. Wow. It really is.
And then to be able to come behind that with services where you're not captive, you really can serve in my best interest. You've got the masterclass. So yes, this is a marvelous tool, but this does seem to be your maybe it's value system mindset approach. This crowd that you've chosen to hook up with and work with, this is how these folks think. This is how, and it's why they're successful.
Yes.
Yeah. And I haven't met them all. I've actually personally met one of the Steve Siebold. I mean, I went to a class. I don't think I wrote a check for it about public speaking. And I mean, I got so much value in an hour and a half, 2 hours. So if Tom and what's the Horner?
Oh, Andy Horner.
And Lucky, all these folks. I was going to call him Lucky. I don't care what his other name is.
Call him Lucky.
But I mean, this is your tribe, your crowd. This is the way they think. They really are in it to genuinely help people. And like we said earlier, as a result, it's amazing what a marvelous sales tool helping people and doing good work is, right?
It is. It is. It is. I mean, I love educating people. If you know of a business where 100% of the people you talk to become clients, let me know, because
Right.
I'll leave this business and get in that one. But seriously, anytime we have the opportunity as an organization to educate anybody, whether they're 10 or 110, it's the right thing to do, and B, it's a great seed planted because people talk.
Absolutely. All right. As we wrap, before we do, let's make sure that our listeners have all of the key points of contact, whether it's a website, email, phone number. Let's make sure they've got the book title, where to get their hands on the book, and
Yes.
Any of that stuff that you feel like is appropriate.
Let's do it. So, you want me to give my contact information?
Yes, sir. Lay it on them.
All right. So my name is Glenn, Glenn, 2 N's. The second N is silent. Glenn Carver, Carver. The name of the book is How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker.
I love it.
And that's very intentional. Let's see. My email address is glenn.carver@wealthwave.com. That's glenn.carver@wealthwave.com. My cell is 404-291-0291. You can buy this book on Amazon for $15 or $17, or you can reach out to me and I'll mail you one for free. So you decide which is less painful. But love what I'm doing. I'm doing this for the rest of my life. As long as I'm a living, breathing human, I'll be teaching people how money works, and just I'm fired up about it. And so thank you so much for having me on your show. And hopefully this time we've spent together will positively impact somebody's life financially.
Well, it's absolutely my pleasure, and it has certainly been a delight having you come in the studio. I'm quite sincere when I say we'll have you come in again. And I don't know, maybe come in with a delighted client, maybe come in with one of your team members, one of these authors, maybe come in with a kid who read the book. I just think this could be fun to check in on this story from time to time if you're up for it.
And we don't live far from this studio, so I'm in.
We need to be more planful. So we'll do the show, then we'll walk over to Reformation.
Perfect.
Maybe have a beer or something. Grab a piece of pie over at Lauren's place.
Yes.
If it's a later show, we'll go hit Mad Life.
Absolutely. Love Mad Life.
See, now I'm going to send all those people an invoice for spots.
Of course.
I'm kidding. All right, one more time, key contact info, and then we'll wrap.
Yeah, glenn.carver@wealthwave.com, 404-291-0291.
All right. Until next time, this is Stone Payton for our guest today, Glenn Carver with the How Money Works organization, and everyone here at the Business RadioX family saying we'll see you next time on Cherokee Business Radio.